roll call in just a sec. Make sure you're all checked in. Banana Boy, do you want to play? You're on mute right now. You got like 10 seconds to say something.
Is he in the Pro League?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember what his in-game name is. He was the old Banana Boy with an I, not a Y. But he's got another name as well. It's pretty good. Banana Boy? Nah, not happening. Cool. All right, I'm gonna do a roll call now. Banana Boy, did you check in?
I'm not.
Are you gonna play? You gonna play?
He says he's not Pro League, and you know when someone says that,
All right, okay. Yeah,
tend
sure.
to
All right, we
believe
got 12 people in the queue anyway, so whatever. All right, I'm gonna do a roll call now. If you don't hear your name, you want to play, let me know. Otherwise, we got Tyler, Kurto, Zateo, Behemoth, Otakon.
Tyler might be AFK, by the way.
Tyler, you there?
He's in.
He's not even in our chat.
Still.
Yeah.
Guys, wait up. I think Colonel Klink signed. I think he's about to check in.
Don't kick him.
Just
Tyler's in the game. Here we go. He's joined. Tyler, you there?
I moved him.
All right, we'll hold off on him till we get back. What I get up to? Behemoth, Otakon, Sad for You, Fred, Starduck, Cyrus, Lose, Fox, and GGI. I don't see Trigger in there. Trigger, you playing? No, Trigger's not in the chat. Guess he's sitting out. Tyler, say something. You got like 30 seconds before we randomize this. Otherwise, I'll check you out. Who won last game? It was Trigger and Fox?
Fox, yep.
I don't know how the bot works if you're gonna get a spot in, because usually you'd go in again with Trigger, but yeah, I don't know what happens. All right, I'm gonna check out Tyler because he's not here.
You should the bot should just assign him normally if he's not in there with his partner.
Okay, this is the final check-in. So we got Kurto, Zateo, Behemoth, Otakon, Sad for You, Fred, Starduck, Cyrus, Lose, Fox, and GGI. I'm about to randomize it. You got like 2 seconds to say something. Otherwise, you miss out. 3, 2. Behemoth isn't in.
1, 2. Buckle my shoe.
I'm here. Okay, I'll check out Behemoth as well.
Behemoth's here.
But Tyler says he wants to be a spectator.
GG. Behemoth the same as you.
Okay, cool. I checked out. Behemoth, are you playing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Alright, I'm starting, guys.
Alright.
Let's make sure GGI got out of there. Okay, we've got 10 people in the pool. Here we go. Too late for anyone who wants to complain. Teams are Team 1, Kurto and Fox.
Kurto and Fox.
Team 2, Sad for You and Cyrus. It's a good team. Team 3, Behemoth and Zateo. Team 4 is Fred and Starduck.
Zateo and Behemoth. Alright. Alright, guys. And who's spectating? Or observing?
Someone gonna cast with me? GGI?
Down, buddy.
Awesome. Phoenix, you wanna jump in there as well? Phoenix? No? Cool. All right, it'll be me and GGI.
All right. I'm not sure. Tyler can.
Tyler's Spanish, apparently.
Is that a no-go for Tyler?
Let him spectate. Just don't make him ref.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Everybody ready?
Yep, we're good to go.
All right. Let's go to our designated channels, get that stream going for the Pro League, and let's do this. All right. I am.
Just gonna call it from here.
No. We'll move across. I was just
Are
setting
you
up.
streaming or is Fred streaming?
No, I got the stream up.
Or both?
No, it's on me. Alrighty. Game 3 of the night. So, Team 1, we've got Fox and Kurdo. Team 2, we've got Sad For You and Cyrus. Team 3, we've got Zateo and Behemoth. Team 4, we've got Starduck and Fred. What are your thoughts, GGI? Any favorites at this point?
I actually think that Cyrus's team has a really good chance. This has nothing to do with like talent or what I think. Can Zito get a win? Can Zito just win a game, please? Please. Like I'm not rooting against anybody. I'm just rooting for Zito. Let's go, Zito.
I think he's kind
Victory,
of.
buddy.
I think he's kind of been a bit under the weather at the moment, considering that both games, someone has taken his color. He usually plays Fox's color there. I think that's
right.
light green. He's playing black. It's difficult. I mean, I get a bit under the pressure when I'm not playing orange, so I can only imagine how he feels. But he's
It is
first place
weird.
right now.
Let's go, Zito. Yo, it is weird to see like Cyrus not be dark green, Zito not be light green, and then Trigger usually. What is Trigger usually? Feels like he's a color of
I think
green.
I think he plays a pink.
That's
I
right.
think he plays
I think
dark
he usually does
pink.
play pink.
Yeah.
It would be odd to see
Zateo
you
had
not
some
orange.
really interesting upgrades there. He was playing on 0004, 4 speed, no upgrades on anything else. Very interesting stuff for him. It's actually working for him though. Well, not at this point, but yeah.
Game. Nobody wants to use their nuke yet. Don't blame 'em. I'm not Fred nitty with a nuke, but I usually do attempt to save it. I feel like longer than average. Completely debatable on when you want to use it. Sometimes you got to use it to like save a bunk early on that would set you back really far, or sometimes you got to use it to save a buddy's bunk that would set the team back really far. Which frustrating spots, but it happens.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I don't use it unless I absolutely have to. It is one of those Hail Mary kind of I need it, or I'll use it as a finishing move. Go and surround a bunk and then kill the returning army and finish it off.
Frodo is going to snipe Fred's army.
First nuke comes down was Behemoth. Takes out Starduck's army there. Starduck's still in first place, even though we got nuked. He's still got his nuke. I think he's sitting pretty comfortably there. Very, very strange upgrade path there for Starduck 01314. If we know anything about Starduck though from his recent games, he's gonna mass on that range. He's generally like 3-3-11, 3-5 or something. Play something crazy like that. Zateo drops his nuke as well against Cyrus. Top right looking very cornered right now. It doesn't look like they're going to be allowed to grow for a little while.
The first game of the night I ended up playing with Starduck, and it was one of those things where I was like, how long we were into the game, but he was like 7, 8, 14, 3, and 5. I was like, at 14 range. And then he acknowledged, he was like, actually, I'm 7 range ahead of whoever was in his lane. I was like, solid point. So he should have had 2 rows of units fighting against 1 row, and he did really, really good early game. So
It is, and it's one of those things that's great when you're fighting someone in a pub game. And a lot of people, I mean, Starduck's relatively new to the Pro League scene. I think this is probably like his 4th, 5th week or something like that. Once people start to catch on that that's his play, when they lane with him, they know that they just got to get range. So it only works. And the thing is, like, when you're fighting each other, you just cancel each other's range out. So it's not an overly big deal when you fight each other. It's just when you get out of your lane and go fight someone else that the range really helps on that counter.
This is just to acknowledge this. Kurdo has 650 in the bank and has the exact same upgrades as Sad for You, who has 100 in the bank. That is a huge lead early on. Plus, he has his nuke where Sad for You does not. Or I'm sorry, Sad for You does. So they both still have nukes. But Kurdo could nuke a full army here and basically get 1,000.
And
Don't know
I
if he's
think
saving
that
for it
that
or
might
not, but-
actually be a good play from Kurdo to nuke it because he is outsupplied right now, even though they've got the same upgrades. But he's close to that bunk. If he nukes that army of 50 units, he'll get 250, and they'll allow him to drop his bunker.
He's deciding to kind of save it, keep the SCV behind the bunker, which, if you know me, I really, really prefer this being in a spot where it gains value, although losing it early game is tough. And he has really, really good splits here, and he's actually going to go probably right up to 1,000. Should have enough to go ahead and build a bunker right now, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if he should drop it though. I mean, Cyrus is looking pretty comfortable right now. He's forced Zateo to go some crazy ups there. He's on 34226. Cyrus is out upgraded there, but he's only 100 away from getting his second bunker. That's going to really change the tides of the battle there. First bunker down though is from Behemoth, who played actually a little bit different. He went 22324. Didn't spend the 125 on that fifth upgrade. Next bunker down is from Stardock, 11314. Still has his nuke too.
So actually moved his SCV where he's going to build in the standard Reaper spot, and he decided to pull it back and go ahead and build, of course. If you're looking to nuke this bunk, like almost always.
Yeah. Well, I think Fox pulling back there was very pivotal there for Stardock's build. If he kept pressuring on, then Fred couldn't have come back and helped out. But it looks like he will get that bunk at this point. I don't know. He's still got that nuke. Fred's sitting on Merc Marines as usual.
I actually really like Fred's spot. He's ahead on upgrades, and Merc Marines, if you can mass, will actually do some real damage versus unupgraded or worse upgraded regular Marines, even if you're going to get, out supplied. But it'll be, and of course he still has his nuke, so he can always use that as a backup. But moves forward here and see what he does against somebody who has another bunker.
Yeah, I mean the Merc Marines get an extra 5 damage. And it doesn't seem like much, but if you're on 15 attack, your next upgrade is going to cost you at least 400 minerals. For the next 5, it's going to cost you about like 3 grand to get those upgraded. If you merc them, you get the extra damage straight away. Stardock does get his bunker down. Behemoth also gets his bunker down, and Fox also has a bunker down. It comes down really on that left side whether Fred can get his bunk anytime soon or mass up, but with Kurdo coming into his lane, I don't think that's going to be a possibility to even mass.
He has Stardock kind of bail him out there a little bit. He was in a... If Fox hadn't been there, he would have been in a... Or I'm sorry, if Kurdo hadn't been there, he would have been in a good spot versus Fox, but when Kurdo comes down, he kind of got to back off, but Stardock kind of bails him out there a little bit, saves a couple of his army supply. First canceled a bunk in there, and then decided rather than building a bunker to jam it into... out his own. Which I think he did last game. I think this is the exact same thing he did last game.
Yeah. So it's interesting here. You got Behemoth first place right now. I think Behemoth is very well aware of how Stardock plays. If you can tell just by the upgrades, Behemoth sitting on 46725 with Stardock on 44735. It's just the range is matched there, purely just to counter. Which makes it a deadly play because when you go out and kind of look at the venture against the rest of the map, you're not really that great of a position. You're only good against your lane.
First got nuked there by Kurdo. Kurdo should have shot up into first, and he did by a little bit.
Zateo going for his second bunker now as well. He's decided to go Reens. Cyrus is... I've actually seen him play this the last game we played as well. He did end up going Merc before second bunk. Maybe he's taking a line out of Fred's page there, but it's going to be difficult for him to climb back up the lines there against the second Marine bunk from Zateo.
A few nukes, Kurdo. Probably still... He may or may not get the bunk down. Cut it
It
off.
really comes down to Zateo. If Zateo keeps the pressure on, I don't think Cyrus can actually help him out here. And I think that Sad For You has to cancel. He's not having much luck tonight. There's a turret thrown down by
So-
Kurdo to cancel it. And that's
I think
it.
this
they go
moment-
cancel.
Yep, that cancel I think actually goes back to the moment when Kurdo decided to nuke Sad For You's army maybe 3 minutes ago that put Cyrus back, and then Zito came up, which also held Cyrus back, which didn't allow him to help in that particular spot. Also, random side note, top left has 2 sensor towers because fuck it. Like, why not?
Why not?
There's an extra like pixel in difference, like, you know, why not? It's early
That's
game, we got
so
another
true.
125. We're
You
in
know what? It
first.
was
Just
probably one of those moves where Kurdo and Fox dropped it at the same time, and they're like, "Oh
in time,
fuck,
yeah.
yeah, who's gonna cancel? I'm not gonna cancel just in case he cancels." And then it was too late, or they were both built.
That would be godly if they both double cancel at the same time. Then chat like, I thought you were gonna cancel. Well, I thought you were gonna cancel.
Yeah, I can
like,
imagine what
bitching
that
each other.
conversation was like. All right, that's it. You wasted mine. Pull me 125 minerals.
Throw me some money, make up for that.
I think bottom right, bottom left is going all right now. They both still have their nukes. The only team to have their nukes, the only other player who's got it is Fox at the moment.
Starduck's still with his. He's actually in a good spot. Fred, of course, has his. That would argue that would be standard. Yeah, Starduck in third by 200 minerals effectively, and with his nuke behind is in. I would actually argue he's got the most equity one off just because of the nuke.
Yeah, that makes.
That was a
That,
new
there we
thing.
go. He jumps into second place. Won't be long before he takes over Behemoth. I think what's really killing Behemoth right now is that he's only got 2 regen. It's just you go into one battle, great, you might win that one. The next one you've lost. You're not regenning fast enough. He really needs to focus on that regen right now. It doesn't cost him much.
Behemoth has spent 9 on range. Starduck has also spent 9 on range.
And I tell you, that's not Behemoth's normal play. I think he's played it very well in terms of countering his lane to get to match him on range, which means that Starduck needs to look at some other way of getting an advantage, like murking or something like that, because chucking more into range is just setting them both back. It's the same as turtling. You know, if you both just focus on range and don't get any other upgrades, you're just stuck.
It's one of those spots where you want to basically have mutually beneficial trades where effectively you chop army for army, putting you ahead of everybody else, and then allow that to catapult you for the rest of the game.
That's
But
it.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you're stuck turtling and like going behind shield towers and then just like trading infrequently, kind of moving forward a little more difficult.
I don't mind that so much. Generally, what I do is I chuck maybe 2 in capacity, fill up my bunker, and I go somewhere else. Go fight somewhere else.
About
And
to
I
lose
think
his army.
that's one thing we don't see much of is the good sort of pincer attacks, teammate pincer attacks, where you've got one teammate charging in, the other one coming in from the back. I mean, that's the pro moves. There is like, you know, you don't need to nuke to get rid of an entire army if you can time a pincer correctly with your partner.
That usually will come with mid control. So someone can leave an SCV or something in the middle, and then you catch an army like that one side stream of like 2 or 3 units streaming in one direction. It's like, well, I know what's happening here, and then you can kind of cut them off, and it really ends up both getting that entire army off of the board, and then kind of building your army up, and then building your score up. So yeah, it can be a really good spot.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and middle definitely helps with that, having the vision, because usually your partner has to cut through mid to come in and cut them off. And I guess that's why middle is so contended early on in the game. Sad for you. I am definitely sad for you right now. I feel that you had to go for a merked bunker right now. Still haven't got your second bunker down. It's not a good position to be in. The only player right now who doesn't have their second bunk and is not close to it. Fox coming in. He looked like he was about to drop that reap. There we go. There goes the Rorder bunk, first one in the game. Risky to do that move without having middle control, if you ask me. As soon as someone sees it, it's going to get called out. So it's all on Kurdo right now to block the vision. No, but Cyrus does get the vision, and he will call it out. Or maybe not.
I would expect Cyrus on average to call that out, so that would be odd for him not to.
Yeah, I think he was just a bit sidetracked there by seeing Behemoth getting attacked there. He doesn't have time to maybe type. Maybe needs the APM for the exchanges there. But
From
it's
the
too
time
late.
he actually might want to get it down. Like this is, I'm not saying this is the worst position to throw down rods, but let's see, 2 Marines, Marine, Reaper, 2 Marines, and well, it's in the middle of the building. 2 Marines, 2 Marines, 2 Marines. So everybody had, well, I was sad for you. Doesn't have 2 Marines. He had to cancel. But yeah, everybody's got majority Marines. Rodders are going to play poorly against that. Although maybe late game it might be a different story. So maybe Cyrus did decide to just leave that up for a reason. I don't know.
I can understand if Cyrus was playing bottom right and it was his diagonal and goes, yeah, sure, that's fine. They can put some more pressure on their lanes, but I don't know. I would have called that out. Definitely.
I agree. I agree with calling it out. I think if it gets canceled, there's more equity in having the 250 gone, the waste of time gone, and then kind of like their army probably gets reduced. On for late game.
Fred calls
Fred
it
now
out.
sees it.
Fred calls it out straight away. It's too late now. They can't do anything about it. Just letting everyone know you should get Merc Marines.
Or what Cyrus was thinking, like, no, come on. It's either like, come on, Fred, or like, thanks, Fred. Like one of those two.
Yeah.
Has his nuke, there'd be a lot of, if he could have gotten it there, would have been a lot of value in getting the 2 armies.
From Fox, yeah. I don't think he's too concerned right now. I think he's getting a pretty decent feed there. He's got 3 bunks there against Fred's 2 Merc Marine bunks. He's got the concussive shells there, so we can hit and run, and he's fine. They're pretty much even there with their movement speed.
For you and Behemoth trading, or I'm sorry, Starduck and Behemoth kind of trading blows. I actually would have told you 5 minutes ago Behemoth had the better army. Now Starduck has kind of surpassed him as far as upgrades. Although Behemoth has been trying to put, and he does again, he tries to put down another turn the tides, but for now, definitely Starduck with better upgrades.
And as soon as he dropped that bunker, he went back into range. So he's sitting on 12 range right now to match Starduck's 12 range. They're pretty well balanced. It's just the one thing that really gets me with Behemoth's build right now is regen. I don't know why it's so poorly valued as an upgrade. It's one of the best upgrades that you can get.
Upgrades definitely swing in their value as the game moves forward. It's kind of funny, particularly early game. Speed might be one of the more important ones. 10 minutes into the game, am I wasting money on speed? No, I'm going to save it until I have like infinite money and can upgrade later in the game. So stuff like that can kind of change. But yeah, range, Starduck, and Behemoth this game have kind of been the thing they've sunk money into.
Yep. But I find regen is one of those things. When you enter a battle and you realize, why am I getting chopped? It's because you regen. If you get enough regen in there, it saves you a whole, unit attack. So by the time the next attack, if it's 1-on-1, by the time the second attack comes into play, you've already regened it, and that's where your units actually become more successful. Mind you, I never really go past 10, 11 regen, because by that point I've hopefully maxed out my my unit attack, armor, and range, and then focus on an endgame strategy like tanks or SUVs.
It's interesting, especially if you're going to take, and this isn't to degrade his play, he's obviously playing very good, but if you're going to take 2 Marine bunkers, I mean, the kind of thing that you would desire would be Stim. If you have 2 regen, Stim's not going to do much, you're just going to kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So the antithesis of what you want. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you would want to kind of spend money on regen.
Yeah, I mean, you could see his units, like in this exchange right here, his units is just getting chopped. 1, because they're not merked. 2, because he's got no regen. And he's up against merked Reapers. You can't fight that with Marines. If anything, his third bug should have been Rauders. Starduck, I didn't realize, but he went for a Reaper bunker in his partner's lane. Looking at massing Reaps there, which is pretty dangerous considering Fox has got Rauds on the table. Sad for you, almost dying there.
Curto in a good spot, Starduck out in front by a couple hundred, and then Behemoth 1,000 behind Starduck at this point. Bunch in the middle, and then a couple at the bottom.
Yeah, he's getting some very favorable trades there from Behemoth. He's now got a 1k lead on him. I think that's only just going to grow exponentially. Finally, Behemoth gets some regen there. I think he's got Stim Pack. with 5 regen. Probably wants to get at least one more to get in there. 5's good to get your stim, but your next upgrade needs to be one more on regen.
Rule of thumb, and if somebody wants to disagree with me, I'm totally fine. But and his army just got washed. My rule of thumb for stim, if the game is going well and doesn't call for this, I usually try to get 9. Like that's the magic number. I feel comfortable at 7, but I really like 8 or 9 before I like jamming T on my keyboard. And
yeah, it's one of the most deadliest things to do is to jam that T button. You know, that accidentally double stimming on 5 or 6 regen, your unit's going to die pretty much straight away. You get a bit more
good to hit it, and you're like, maybe this will stack if I just smash it one more time. And it's like, actually, no, it doesn't. You kind of needed to wait 7 seconds. See all your health go to 0. Like, son of a bitch. It feels so bad sometimes to overstim.
Yeah. I mean, I do that sometimes on purpose when I'm about to win a game, and I'll just mass stim my whole army while I'm taking out a bunker, the final bunker, just to make it look cool. But yeah, besides that, no, you don't want to double stim.
Top left might have just called out. Okay, no, both their armies got brought over, and then critical. Oh, they decided to side switch? I thought they were both going to go ahead and hit sad for you. They decided against that and then side switch. Interesting.
Yeah, top right not having a good time at the moment. But generally, it's the diagonals that come into the finals of the match. I think at this point, Stardock is in a pretty good position, followed by Kurdo. I have a feeling top left might be the first ones to go. I don't know why. I'm thinking there's going to be a gang up on him shortly. I just can't see them focusing on Sad for You any longer. I mean, poor guy's just been he's been feeling it.
It's really not fun when all you have to do is sit there, wait for your army to get full after 2 minutes, and then have it get destroyed in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Definitely been through those games. It's not the most fun.
And even at this point, I mean, he's up. He's got Kurdo in his lane, and he's, double his score. What do? He's sitting on 1,500 minerals. If I was in his position, do I upgrade? Do I get a bunker? I would probably just go for a tank. But the problem is that Cyrus isn't in that much of a better position either. He is beating his lane, but only just. They're just falling further and further behind, and that tank can only come in for a defensive play. They can't push with it because they'll just get wiped off the map.
Cyrus is sitting on almost 1,900. Well, I'm sorry, now 1,900. I assume he's waiting to take a bunk, or maybe he was waiting to build a tank here. But
they both got it. They both got 1,900.
What in the world? Are they going to pull? Okay, no. He's going to go ahead and build a tank. Oh man, I hate this. So if you're talking, this can't happen. And here comes Kurdo. He immediately sees it, immediately canceled. Probably optimal, actually. It's really boring, but like that probably was for the best.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Fox is coming in, and at least you know that Sad for You has the money for it. Yeah, 2 turrets get dropped. But it's not going to be enough. I mean, these guys are just, from a score perspective, they're just too far ahead. They need a nuke. They need to call out for help. I don't know why Zateo's coming up to hit Cyrus right now. He's not really a threat. But it looks like Zateo's going to try kill that bunk. Cyrus is going to have to cancel for sure.
Yeah, this is kind of what I did the first game. I let a bunker sit there basically as long as you can, which is if it's going to go down and it's optimal to have them hit to shoot the bunker while you remash your army. But yeah, you want to be careful and hit however you do it. I hit the escape key just to cancel it off before you lose the money, which not the best. We're in on this. That's another turret from Cyrus.
But you know what? This hasn't been overly bad for Sad for You. I don't know why his bunker's not loaded right now. Cyrus needs to cancel. There we go.
Has to get canceled. Yep.
Sad for You actually climbed up a bit there in score. If he kept his bunker full, would have been better. But now he's in a bit of trouble.
Just pulling a trigger, has his main army at home while he's got half of the army over here attacking. Sad for You.
It's good. I mean, it helps out Kurdo there in taking down that bunker. If they throw down another turret, it's guaranteed to be theirs, but they don't do it. They pull back. Cyrus will probably get the 100 here for this bunker kill. And Nuke comes in, and it gets sniped.
Good snipe.
Yep.
Good snipe. Just going to throw this out there. Behemoth with 20 attack. When did that happen? I would have told you, and I think I did. Starduck was ahead in upgrades, I don't know, 7 minutes ago. Now he's behind as far as attack. And then the double team with Zito and Behemoth here is actually kind of pushing them back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the difference really is the murking of the bunkers there. So you got 1,000 on the two reaped merc bunkers, and you've got the two supply depots there for 700. So $1,700, 1,700 minerals spent on other things from Stardark, whereas Behemoth decided to put it into upgrades, and he's not doing too bad. He was 1,000 behind last time I mentioned it. Now he's 1,700. It's not overly bad. He's not falling behind too much, but he really needs to start murking his bunkers or getting Rauders. Because right now, Kurdo actually looks like the biggest threat. 3 Marines and a Reaper bunker. And top right is just feed at the moment.
Cyrus took all that tank money and invested it in attack, which actually puts him 5 ahead of Kurdo. He just doesn't have the supply. Who gets a Marauder bunker down? I would actually argue now Starduck's units, just clicking on these things, are a little bit more upgraded, as he's got 6 better in defense and is only 5 behind on attack. The fact that they are tied on range.
Yeah, that kind of puts him neck and neck. And the big difference there, obviously, is the merc units, and that he won't budge from fighting within his shield. So you can see Behemoth there trying to poke him, like, get out of your shield, get out of your shield. No, it's not happening. Run back. Don't fight him in the shield. They're murked. Not great exchanges there.
Starduck has jammed 6 into building armor and 7 into building regen, which is a fair bit, man. That's probably the total of that is probably like 600, 700, yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's pretty
Damn near a
hardcore
new
for this
bunker.
early in the game, considering that he
Yeah.
hasn't really been pressured, and he's still got his nuke, and he just drops down a double upgrade on his supply depots. He's not really interested in getting any different units. He knows that he can hold out.
This is really good if you never lose your whole army. If you lose your whole army with 80 supply on 2 bunks, you're doing one of those, well, I guess I'll sit around and do nothing for a minute. And
Yeah.
you know, it's like really frustrating because you want to get out there and play the game. But yeah, with his upgrades, it's not unreasonable because he has effectively the best upgrades in the game.
I mean, I play that strategy all the time. Like, I will play on 2 bunks and just smash supply depots only when all the nukes are out of the way. And I focus heavily on armor and regen. I mean, the strategy works good for Stardark, but he's only got 7 regen. So if you get more regen on that point, then your units don't die. You don't need the resupply on that kind of supply limit. But at this point, he can easily trade and lose his whole army, and he won't be able to resupply it as quick, which wastes that whole, 800, 1,600 total that he spent on his supply depots.
The man, obviously top right not in first, or in fact, let me be a little more frank, they're in last. Top left, I would argue, is in first. Bottom left and second bottom right in a slight positioning in the game, although it's one of those things. And this is actually good. If you're going to be in first, nobody is miles away in first. Also, Trigger's not in the game, so that helps. But if nobody's going to be like, oh, and everybody, we're getting crushed down to 6v2. So this is one of those things where effectively everybody has the chance to win. This is just odd looking at the scoreboard, 11,000 to 18,000. That's not a huge spread given we're 40 minutes into the game.
That's true, yeah. And it's interesting
Sometimes
that
you see
both
somebody
top 2 players are on the left side of the map. Usually you're looking at diagonals picking off on the weaker lane. But you don't see Zateo going in and hitting Cyrus. Zateo is playing it a little bit smarter. He's got one of the biggest advantages in the game, that he's got Rauders, but sitting at the bottom of the board, you might actually see him climb up if he gets some opportunities here. I mean, even though Starduck's got some pretty hefty range and armor and so on, going up against Rauds is very, very dangerous. But if I was in Zateo's position right now, I'd be looking at murking this Marauder bunker right now.
No doubt. No doubt.
Doesn't look like he's
and
in
then
a position to do it, though. But he does
Just-
chop up on Fox, and Fox is about 2k ahead of him. That just shows how powerful Rauders are.
So Fox has 3 tanks. When did that happen?
Wow.
He has
And a
3
nuke.
full tanks.
And a nuke.
That is
That's
I
insane.
would only imagine this is going to be offensive. He's hitting them. Nobody's called him out to my knowledge. So this, okay, Kurto, let's go ahead and ride the saddle, and then right down to bottom left would be my assumption. Top right could probably be beaten if they both double team them at the same time.
You know what? To be honest, if I was in their position right now, I think looking at where Kurto is, he's got a very, it's not an overly comfortable lead, but he's got about a K, and there's no sign of that dropping anytime soon because top right's looking pretty weak. I think Fox's tanks should be played defensively, especially until he gets splash damage. The idea is that let Kurto climb and score while I sit back and I defend the home base. So you go out there, you venture. I'll just play it easy, because I'll try and slow down bottom left and Stardock and so on. But you just go feed.
This is, I almost like, if it's doable, I almost like moving one tank between Kurto's two rightmost bunkers. Not like top right is going to push Kurto back. That's more of a, if everybody kind of comes, yeah, right there. If everybody kind of comes over and triple teams, it allows you to defend a little bit better. Maybe put one tank behind and then another tank
and
defense on your side. Yep.
That would be my lanes that I would be defending, and I would keep my units on that bottom left side while Kurto pushes on the right hand side. Kind of gives you that middle defense as well, but they're not going to be that great against the units until he gets splash damage and maybe one more tank. But he's actually not taken that much of a hit in terms of his upgrades. I mean, if you look at him, he's 15, 16, 14, 11, 7. I mean, he's doing pretty well for himself. It looks like Sadfu might be under pressure right now. If Fox goes up there, which he doesn't get an opportunity to, but now with Zateo attacking, if they both go up top, no.
Versus, oh no, he'll be fine. He got pushed back. This is kind of funny. Everybody except for top right has a tank. I don't think anybody else knows that anybody else has a tank. So if you're
true.
Yeah, if you're Fred, you're probably sitting there like, and I got a tank, bitch. And it's like, actually, I got 3 tanks, bitch. And it's like, what the? Nobody knows, and nobody's called it out. And here we are, 45 minutes in the game. Also, this is a side note, Fox. Please move the tank out of the tank spot.
Yeah, I mean, what if Kurto wanted to build? I mean, Kurto, It's very irritating as your teammate when your teammate has a bloody tank in the tank square and you're trying to build there. That's for sure.
But he has moved his tank forward to where it'll get either scouted or called out here. So I would expect Fred to call this out for bottom left. Yeah, now as he gets hammered with the tank a little bit. The plan is to hide and hey, thanks, Starduck. If the plan is to hide the tanks, having it in the tank spot. Okay, now he's finally moving it. Versus if you have it in the tank spot ready to go, it's going to, when somebody eventually comes up, it's going to hit them, which would seem to be the antithesis of what's going on if you're going to hide the other tanks. Yeah, getting it out of that spot is definitely the best.
Yeah, and leaving him unsieged so you can move him very quickly is good as well. So they call out the tank, and there's no real pressure on bottom right now. I don't think there's a need to. Their combined score is sitting at about 37,000-ish. Not that much of a threat. Biggest threat right now you've got at 42,000 for Team 1 with Kurto and Fox. And bottom left you've got about 37,000. So there's a big discrepancy there with top left. I don't think anyone's really noticed it as of yet.
This is, again, top right in the worst spot, but this is still kind of really anybody's game. It might be one of those things where top left or bottom right, or I'm sorry, top left or bottom left gets in where everybody kind of goes down on them, and then top right can either come back or maybe play spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sign of Sadfu dying. The poor guy, I don't think he's had a second bunker the entire game. But he's maxed out on his attack, and he's got quite a decent amount of capacity in his bunkers, so we can hold off and attack.
Cyrus gonna lose one.
Yeah, Cyrus loses his bunker there. Zateo not helping to defend it. There's a 4,000 lead from first to second place. I mean, surely there's going to be a switch right now to say, well, maybe we should hit top left.
If I'm in Zito's spot, I kind of like building supply. I don't know if there's anything, or maybe marking your original Marine bunker or something like this. Or maybe spending a little bit of money on... Maybe a little money on regen is Cyrus or Zito needles Cyrus a little bit.
Who's that on?
Zito has stim and then only 8 regen in a 45, 50-minute game, and then Zito kind of needling Cyrus, saying, "Kept you alive, bro. Want to return the favor later?" Or is maybe from a previous game. Yeah, when I see this, if I'm Kurto, I think, all right, time to destroy top left. Or I'm sorry, top right. They are top left players. I think it's time to destroy top right. If everybody's coming anyway, oh man, it's a little too late. If everybody's coming anyway, you might as well make it a little bit easier to expand to the right.
Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty deadly for him. You got tank number 4 building from Fox. He moves
Come
3
on.
tanks into
Oh
position,
my
and
God.
he's going to lose
Please
all
don't.
of them. He might lose all of them. Kurto's got to pull back to help him out here. I don't know. 4 tanks top
At
left.
least
Top.
one.
Fred calls out the wrong position. Fred calls out that there's 4 tanks top right. Everyone's thinking Cyrus and bloody sad for you are just out of nowhere. Gone crazy.
Guarantee Fred was like, and I've got 1 tank, and then now he sees 4 tanks, and he's like, son of a bitch. He knew it was like, oh, we're in a good spot, and then this shows up. Like, what the hell? Also, Fox had like 1,700 in the bank, decided to upgrade something. I didn't catch what it was, and decided to leave.
Well, this is
Flash off these tanks.
this is deadly. Kurto comes back. He's got to send his units back. It's
Well, there's
see,
another one.
this position here is all on is all on Kurto right now. I don't know why he felt the need that he needed to expand so far to the right. He's not helping his partner out. You've got Behemoth tanking, takes out that bunker.
Behemoth, that was well played. It has 2 tanks, a bunch of upgrades, and a bunch of bunkers. GG. Zone control 4. Man.
No one has
Fred's laughing.
no one's got splash damage yet though on their tanks.
Here goes at least another one. Also, I really like if Fox would go ahead and up the...
Well, I would have liked it before he lost his first tank if he nuked, and now he nukes. A bit late there. I think it was if he saved his last tank, then he'd be in a better position right now. Maybe he would have got splash damage and repelled the next attack. Kurto not faring any better there. It looks like he's going to lose another Reaper bunk from that tank push by Behemoth. Cyrus just sitting back. He doesn't know what to do, sitting on 1,500 minerals.
Here goes. Fox has lost, and he's building another tank.
Yeah, there's nothing like there goes one. There goes a second one after this. If they push it, they can take down that second bunker. Kurto can't really do anything to help out right now. Otherwise, he'll lose that back bunker. But all those tanks are going to go to waste when he loses this water bunker. He loses one tank, and he's going to lose another one.
That was
and
not cancelled.
Oh, was he building? I didn't even realize. And if they focus top left right now, they could have finished Fox off right now. Looks like Team 4 is actually going to win this game at this point.
The best spot now.
Fred now sitting back going, yeah, I got a tank. Yeah, take that, Fox. You don't have any.
If he had, instead of building, it was either 5 or 6, assuming he built, let's just say he builds 3, gets splash, and then a couple of upgrades for his bunkers, a better spot, but he's clearly going to be in a better spot as those armies would have gotten wasted a little bit faster.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I could say in this situation is don't get the third tank until you got splash. You know, it makes a big difference when you're taking on big unit masses. Get the splash damage. Even like one bunk, you may consider it. Yeah, sometimes after one bunk, get the splash, but really you should have 2 bunks, get the two tanks, and get the splash damage. But definitely don't wait 3 bunks to get splash.
In general, I agree. Cyrus with the old classic 1 bunker and a tank, because why not? Splash, it does not. Joe has rebuilt relatively quickly.
Yeah, there's only no one's actually got that second SEV underway. So Kurdo, yeah, very impressive how quickly he got back in there.
With the highest score, but he, I mean, no doubt lost a ton just now. Also, Fox with third high score, but he's hard to argue he's in third given his situation.
Well, we got the first splash damage in the game from Behemoth on a single tank. If I was in his position right now to maximize that upgrade, I'd be looking at that second tank before any bunkers, any upgrades, anything like that. That's what his next focus should be. Maximize that 2,000 upgrade on that splash damage. Sad for you.
It must be rubbing
Potentially
off.
trying to get his second bunker down for the first time this game.
Not allowed.
Oh, that was so close.
Yo, he's a man. He said, "No, I'm not canceling this."
Yeah,
Fuck
he's
that."
like, screw it. I don't need this. Cyrus is going to
There
push
you go,
his
Cyrus, doing
tank.
tank over.
Yep.
Versus SCV, where is it?
Well, that tank
Yeah, bring
really
it over, there
helped
you go.
out there with the turret. Makes a big difference. If the turret gets thrown down, there needs to be a bit more than just one turret there. You got Fox coming in as well.
Fox coming over.
Oh, Cyrus loses tank. I don't know what the pressure is right now to make sure that they cripple top right, because while this is happening, they're losing their lead.
Doesn't get canceled. Yeah,
He
Seth, you
didn't
did not
he didn't cancel
that bump.
the bunk. He lost it.
I think. Oh no, he decides to pull back. This is. I wonder if Kurdo was watching the last game and is attempting to emulate Trigger. I'm not saying that's his idea. Maybe he didn't watch last game. He's just trying to keep Sad for You alive in the fashion that Trigger decided to keep Zito alive last game. But he just. I mean, they clearly have that bunker dead if they want it, and he decides to pull back.
Yeah, I mean, top right are not a threat. They haven't been a threat the whole game. It's really not worth putting any pressure on them. Starduck is the first to get a second SCV there. He's still got his nuke. So does Fred.
Could pull it right now. Yeah, they both could pull it right now, just in defense.
Well, if I was in Fred's position, this seems like the time to use it. I don't know if he loses that bunk. He doesn't have that many on the map. He needs to save that bunk.
He has nothing in the bank, and he is going to be able to save it. Sad for You actually pulls back. Interesting, Behemoth decided to leave his tank behind on this push. They may or may not get it. Also, Starduck has 2 SCVs at this point.
Well, he's sitting in a pretty good spot right now. He's got 2 tanks now. He's got splash damage. They got a very good defensive play. He should push that one up there, up against Teo's Rotor bunk. There's no point having 2 tanks there right next to each other. He should be helping his partner out from the top lane. Because if Kurdo and Fox decide to hit them on that top side, they're going to get steamrolled pretty quick. Although on their sort of
There you go.
luck on their side is that Stardock is in second place, and Behemoth
Top
is
right is going bye-bye.
There we go. And the question is, where do they attack next? Are they going to go hit Stardock? Because if they go hit bottom left, if top left hit bottom left, I think bottom right might actually win this game.
This is odd. I would almost argue watching the game. Obviously, this statement is going to sound a little goofy, but top left, specifically Fox, has what is now going to be 4 bunkers, assuming it gets down to a little bit of supply. Starduck has 2 bunkers in his nuke, and I would argue he's way ahead of Fox. Like, it's not even comparable how far he is, even though he's behind on bunkers by 2. Given Fred also has his nuke, he needs to take it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Other than those Reapers do 0 damage.
yeah, that's one thing. I mean, if I was in Starduck's position right now, I would be murking that back bunker, and I would be building a second marine bunker or a Rorder bunker so that I could do something against those Rords, because every other team there has 2 Rord bunkers, but they're sitting on 1, and it's sitting with Fred. But they both still have their nukes, so they feel like, you know what, we can Hail Mary this at any point we want. They're going to take out Fred's back.
This is a Fred nuke spot. This is a Fred nuke spot.
Yep, this
Like,
is it.
he loves nuking right
He
now.
doesn't need to.
Oh,
But...
no, he doesn't need it.
Oh, double tank push here by Behemoth. It could be deadly if bottom left doesn't keep up that attack. They might lose these tanks right now. Kurdo's just too strong, but that splash damage does take out a lot of those units. They're going to lose one
down.
tank for sure. these guys on the left-hand side really need to start pushing now. But actually, that worked in their favor. So bottom right isn't that much of a threat. They just lost those 2 tanks. Couldn't even take out a bunker to do it, even though they will. Bottom left will take out those bunkers. My bad. Behemoth still had 1 tank. He's building another tank on the way. They're still in a pretty decent position. Besides the fact that bottom left still have the new gauge.
It's down to 1 bunk if that goes. Bunch of SCVs trying to repair. A couple of turrets getting thrown down. If they get double teamed here, bottom left, bottom right goes up for that bunk. It's probably gone.
Very interesting that Fox is saying to hit Zateo. I think the big thing would have been to hit bottom left.
With 2,500 in the bank, maybe he's saving for another CV. Other than that, that wouldn't make much sense. Could murk that big dude. His original base is not murked. Driving me crazy.
Yeah, that back bunk. Yeah, he needs to murk that. I don't know
Yeah,
what
please.
it's.
We're an hour into the game, so you don't do it. You can
Do it. You can do it. You know what? I'd actually like to see at least like 3 or 4 more on regen for him. He's still sitting on 8. Fox is dead. Looks like bottom left will switch soon, and this is the time for bottom right to call out a truce with Teal.
If he scouts, oh my god, Sarek has 3 SCVs and they both still have the nuke. Bottom left has to have the most equity currently. I'm not saying it's going to end up that way where they're going to win, but Zeno! Buddy, I agree. 100% he needs to just throw an SCV or run over there and see exactly what they're sitting on. Fred immediately moves his tank back. Oh, you want to check me out? Fine. I'm going to slide this over to the left. You can see this 1 bunk in the supply. No big deal.
pretty funny move there by Fred. But I think that attack right then from bottom right, just to see how quickly they got owned, is enough to say we got to stick on bottom left because we can't take these guys 2-on-2, and that's kind of going to work out well here. Kurto's coming in their favor, but he won't be able to take that bunk out. It's going to be close, but not close enough. Fred still does not want to nuke. So Behemoth's building his third. Right. Behemoth's building his 3rd tank. I think now's the time to push a tank. If they knew that that Kurto's pushing, he might actually take that bunk now, sitting on 500 health. Oh, it got down 50? To like 100.
Like 56. Like one more shot from 1 Marine. Does it? Like what's the Marine damage right now? 55.
He will get it. He will get it now. He will get it now. If he focuses the bunker, no, he won't get it.
The bunker. There you go, Fred.
Fred sitting on 13 building armor, 13 building regen. It's going to take a little bit more than that. You got a lot of SCVs there from Starlight coming up to repair it. It's going to get full HP instantly. There needs to be a tank push from bottom right now. I don't know why they're playing extremely defensive right now. They must know that Kurto is attacking him, and this is the only chance they can use to really deal some damage.
Side note, good job, Zito. Zito has a random Marine in the upper right-hand corner of the map, either to scout, probably not for minerals, but probably to scout to see if Kurto ever decides to switch sides there. I really, really like that. He's taking it out of
That's really good, yeah, because you can see the sensor line there. It doesn't cover that one corner. Yeah. When I'm in a position like this, if I was in Zateo's position, I generally like to get a sensor tower on all 4 of these squares if I can, and that gives you full map vision. You just need the 4 strategically placed ones. But here we go. The tanks get pushed. Stardark calls out 3 tanks, and here comes Fred. He pushes his tank. Is it in range? It's not in range. It's not in range, but you can see a nuke coming potentially from Fred. He needs to do it now. I don't know why they're still sitting. Oh, get sniped. He's going to lose that water bunker regardless of whether or not the nuke comes out. The question is, will those 3 tanks survive? If I was in Behemoth's position right now, I'd be pulling those tanks back because here comes the nuke. It's not going to be enough, but I would still push those tanks back. If Fred nukes now, he'll take 1 tank out.
Yeah, he could have taken at least 1, and it does go down, so he ends up saving the nuke the way it works out, so not too bad.
But Fred's getting owned there on the left-hand side. Kurto, look at that expansion there from Kurto. I don't know how many SCVs he's got right now. He's sitting on 2 that I can see.
Bottom left can see that he's expanding. They should actually call this out. Well, now they can as the Central goes down. So to answer a couple of questions in chat, Roz wants to see score. I mean, it's kind of tough because it holds the entire top right part of the screen. I think that's trigger. Interesting.
Dark Shadow is
Interesting.
trigger.
Although late game taking take spots not as bad. Yeah. Also, the consensus best player, you're talking to him, not me. You're talking to Dark Shadow in stream. Or I could just be a dick. Yeah, I'm a consensus best player. Who am I? No. You're talking to Dark Shadow in chat. He is without question the consensus best player. Wait, what? Starduck has, I couldn't tell you how many SCVs, and definitely had a bunch of money. He has 10 regen? That
Oh
blows
wow,
my
I
mind.
didn't notice that. But he does have the SCVs. You don't need the regen. You don't need unit regen if you're playing a turret build.
That is a ton. He's throwing correctly. He is throwing a bunch of turrets. He still has 2 bunks, but they're not exactly close. That makes rallies a little bit tough.
He needs to throw a couple down here on Fred's side. Fred's got a tank there. He doesn't have splash damage. It's not doing them very well. But with the amount of turrets that are there on the right-hand side and protecting that tank, I think it's enough to hold off bottom right temporarily. But if Fred loses another bunker, it's really going to hurt. I'd like to see some turrets up on this top side.
Walk it forward? Yeah, okay, this is fine. Okay, it's just an APM issue. He's going to walk it a little bit more forward and then go ahead.
Fred is still sitting on his nuke right now. I don't know. I think now when he's about to lose his tank might be the best time to throw the nuke. Fred, do it. It lives.
Man.
It lives, but he loses his other
2.
one. He's going to lose that tank. All because Starduck had to pull back and help him with the other tank. This is why sometimes it's best to just throw down that nuke. Fred's sitting on second SCV as well. He's going to start throwing down some turrets too, but I don't know how effective it's going to be against these 3 players.
Is Fox dead? Is he?
Fox
am I
is dead,
crazy?
Yeah, Fox is dead.
I mean, I don't know if it's kosher to talk in chat while he's deceased. I'm not saying. Did I say Fox? Yeah, Fox. Yeah, talking while he's dead. He's gonna go ahead and move.
Here comes a triple tank push here by Behemoth. I don't know. I'm a bit curious here that Fox
sniping the forward one.
Fox is like, here comes a nuke. Oh, you see all the SCVs coming out to throw a nuke. They don't do it.
Fred.
They don't get a tank. They don't cancel the bunker. There goes a nuke. A tank goes down.
Good nuke. Gets this tank. Loses a ton of army, but does get the tank.
But he loses his own tank on this side as well. Fred in a lot of danger right now. See on 2, but he's got 1 tank there.
I have 6 SCVs trying to repair this tank. So say bottom left dies. How does top left win?
I think top left is in a better position, to be honest. Although
Bottom right?
in terms of SCV count, Zateo's on 2, Starduck's on 2, and Kurto's on 2 as well. So yeah, bottom right has a definite advantage. They're sitting on 2 tanks there. Kurto's not focused at all in the slightest. Even gives a damn about tanks or SCVs right now. I think that's his downfall. If bottom left die, I think top left dies.
This is a spot where I really, really like, and I always say this, but if Kurto could take his SCV and either run it into the middle or just literally jam it just 3 bottom right corner of the map just to see what they have, I really think that gives you a little bit more information rather than just chilling at home.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be really, really nice for you to do that. Just so you could have a little more information.
The thing is with Kurto's play right now, you can see, look at all these mass builds there. He's got 2 SCVs. He's not looking at getting more. His only focus right now is mass expansion. But you got 2 tanks there from Behemoth. You got a 3rd one just built. You got 2 here from Zateo. Zateo also has splash damage. They push those 5 tanks in the middle, build in middle, and push forward from there. They're going to take down these 2 Rorder bunkers straight away. They need to be positioning themselves right now. As soon as they clear out that bunker, Fred's going to die first, but they need to, like, Zateo right now needs to push these tanks into middle before Kurto gets a good position on them. These tanks, all of them need to push mid, and they can push a tank wall just along that axis there on that diagonal.
Well, I was about to say Kurto needs to win this now. Zito did the right thing, pulled back and switched. I don't know that
Zateo played that right, because now he's lost all his units. They can't do an effective tank push, because now this gives Kurto middle control. And even though you've got your 2 tanks there defending it, it's going to be very difficult. There needs to be mass tank. Here it comes from Behemoth. Mass tank push. You need some turrets lining up that middle section right there, and slowly pushing those tanks forward, because that splash damage. You can see that first tank's dead from the splash damage of the other tanks. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 tanks there. The question is, who's going to go out there and take mid first? And you can see here Kurto's going in there straight away, getting a sensor and a shield tower.
Has 2 SCVs. He has 1 bunk that's half health, although he has enough regen, no big deal. It's one of those spots where it feels like the worse off Kurto's going to be, is they could conceivably either march through the middle with tanks, or they could split him on both sides, making the micro extremely difficult.
Yeah, that's true. That split needs to happen, but at the moment they're just outsupplied right now. Kurto's sitting at 100 units, and the other 2 combined at 70 units. When they get this middle, they need to keep continually pushing these tanks forward. Just turret and tank forward, turret, tank forward, turret, tank forward. Just one tank at a time, so they got the back line protected by the splash. You can see at this point, like, they're doing very well with that strategy right now. They're able to slowly push forward. They're going to take middle, and someone needs to drop a bunker there and just continually push those tanks forward. That's the only way they're going to move forward, because Kurto's not even focused even remotely in getting a tank. Even though he can see 5 tanks on the board, the only thing he can do right now, if I was in Kurto's position, and he's only got 3 SCVs, so it won't be that effective, but he's doing it now anyway, is turret the back line, which is not effective when you've only got 3. This is why you just don't go that many bunkers. It's way too much. You can't protect that against a split, especially when there's tanks on the board. So we'll see this probably end shortly. I can't see bottom right losing here. I don't know what Kurto can do, except for this move right now by Z02, which is going to cost him those 2 tanks, if not from the units, from the splash damage of Behemoth's back to
the other tanks.
Yeah.
Throwing tanks away would... Okay, so plausibly, how does bottom right win?
No, they can't win that. They can't win that. They can't win that now. The problem is that see that backline turret? He's focusing on that. They can't resupply to protect those tanks. Losing those 2 tanks was deadly, because the resupply you've got from Kurto here is just massive. The only thing you could do is mass SCVs, get a massive feed, like they are. They're getting huge feed from the middle there from the tanks, killing the units. And the only thing you should be doing with that is getting SCVs and massing turrets. But they can't do anything now. I mean, they need a tank in the back line to clear those turrets out. But this is
really good macro. Every single bunker is murked, and he has so good job, dude. This is look at all those turrets. Turrets shooting turrets.
Yep. And even if they're not doing damage to the buildings, that's not what it's about. It's how they're getting a line of units back to the front. Zateo needs to push that tank.
Behemoth could fill his bunkers and do something. He literally has 0 supply on board because of all these turrets. I wonder if he's even at the keyboard right now.
Yeah, the problem is that Kurto's turrets won't die to a bunker full of units. With regen and the armor on them, they just won't die that quickly.
1 tank left for bottom right. Kurto, another SCV, another expansion.
Yeah, massive expansion.
With 4K in the bank on 10 regen.
On Zateo, yeah, I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Is it going to be a turret or a SCV? That tank. Oh,
just barely dies.
Yeah, and now that there's no tanks on the board, they're not building any. I think they're pretty well dead, and they're continually attacking. Sure, they're going to get middle. They're going to get middle, but
they finally get resupplies. The turrets in the back are done. Zito builds a bunch of turrets building 2 at the same time. He also needs to throw turrets. I think he has more than 2 SCVs. Yeah. Keep throwing turrets with that.
3, yeah.
Throwing a bunch of turrets I assume to not get sniped from the left. That's why he's placed those kind of off to the left center of the middle of the map.
Yeah, so now it's at a point where I don't think Kurto needs to even worry about turreting the back line. He can just continue this because there's no end game here from bottom right. There's no tank build. What's with this line here? Look at all this exposed shit on the left hand side. You know, one of them needs to go there, but it doesn't look like Behemoth can go there.
Behemoth has a nuke? No, okay, I'm just seeing pink on pink. I thought it was a nuke. Ha! Zito gets a bunker in the middle, gets it down, and then immediately murks it. So he can't fill it.
He's got to cancel that.
Needs to-
He's got to
needs to
cancel that
cancel
one.
this one.
He's not going to cancel it. No, he's focused somewhere else.
They're
Kodo
also now
goes in
building
straight
middle.
away. I must say it's rare to see a pro league game won purely by mass. I don't think mass is a way to end the game. I don't know what happened there, to be honest. I think the synchronization of the advantage of having two players versus one, regardless of score and points and bunkers, is that you can split better. I don't think they took advantage of that.
So still never murked that back his original bunker, and has a couple of units back there which were for the turrets. Those should come out obviously, but at this point it's kind of moot. Top left of the map on the mini map. That's a lot of light blue. A lot of light blue.
This could be probably the most supply we've seen in a pro league game, to be honest. We don't generally see this much going on. You know, usually you win with like 6 bunkers or something like that. You never see a whole quarter of the map gone.
If they somehow could, if Zito could go around the upper right hand corner and maybe pull Kurto back rather than trying to pound him in the middle, it might be optimal. I mean, Kurto guaranteed to win the game, but like 99.99% of the time, man, it's hard to see him lose. Yeah, here should be the final push.
Yeah.
So, also, only has 1,200 in the bank. Not like that's a small amount, but this late in the game it is. This can't, just so I know, right? This cannot go to a draw if bottom right could hold for another 2.5 minutes effectively.
No. It's
Okay.
final two players, final two teams, sorry, will play out to the end. It's just if there's 3 players, you know, you get in those situations where it's like switch, and then everyone just keeps rebuilding and switch, and you go for 3 hours. Generally, when it's the final 2 teams, it doesn't take that much longer, as you can see here.
Look at this meme that Kurto. I almost want to say Kurto's just not like just going to stop in the middle. Attempt to build every square on the map except for basically bottom. Also,
You know what? You know what I'd love to see right now? You know what I would love to see? I would love to see like some turrets just surrounding this square right here, and then seeing Kurto building a freaking Reaper bunker
Like a
right
shield
there.
tower.
No, Reaper bunker right there. While all the other buildings are encapsulated in it, you know what I mean? Just like that'd be hardcore. That'd be next level. Like I would even suspect him of map hacking. You know.
Should be able to see this.
But hold on a second. Zeteo is getting some awesome feed. I haven't even really been paying attention. I thought the game was over. Zeteo's actually got 6 SCVs. Kurto's only got 5. I think he's actually getting decent enough minerals here to continually throw these down. If he can actually throw them down around the right side, he might actually do some good. I don't know, because it seems like Kurto's having trouble pushing with the amount of turrets that Zeteo is able to throw down. This
might be spending all his money on bunkers,
yeah,
and spending it on throwing turrets. Look at this Marine finally shooting. He's building 4 supply at the same time as well as murking these bunkers. He can see this tank. He can see that one space over, so he can see Zito's building at least 1 tank. This is good. Kurto, and I should have said this earlier, Kurto being able to split his army into 2 and come around where Behemoth is, throw turrets and build and throw like 30, 40 supply down here just to split their armies makes a lot of sense.
The problem with it is that if he leaves that middle, and actually the biggest problem is he's just doing 1A. He's not stuttering. He needs to stutter into that turret mass there in the middle. Here we go. Here comes a stutter. And then you can actually clear out the turrets. It makes a big difference. But you can't do that when you split that far. Like it'll be a whole map split there.
Bro has made a circle around this tank. Yeah, he made a circle around that tank. That was actually really, really good. Couldn't back up even if it wanted to. He has another one in the tank spot.
So
He has 6K
Zateo
in
from
the
that,
bank.
yes, 6k.
Playing 2 tanks right now as well.
So in terms of like the trades here, I think Zateo is actually getting some mass feed. I don't think he should even care about units right now. There should be no push to expand. Maybe tanks. Tanks is a good play, but turrets. Just turret push the
A bunch
whole
of
way.
turrets.
I would just go line the whole way across that map. Just go turrets that whole way. You'd secure the bottom half for Behemoth to finally get on his fourth bunk.
Again, yeah. So I will say that I was 100% wrong thinking this game was going to be over, I don't know, 30 minutes ago and that Kurta was just going to wipe this clean. But, this game's still going, man. I mean, I'm not saying it's over, but they got a chance. Kurta kind of walks up trying to snipe this tank as it's building through 14 different turrets. He ends up the actual tank from Zito might kills on tank, and it did. No, Zito, not like this.
And this is the thing. Okay, so when you're in this position, guys, for those of us who are watching who haven't played StarCraft or Zone Control, sorry, as much as the rest of us, when you're in this position, you can see, like, generally when someone plays like this, like Kurto's playing, it's kind of like a troll game. It's like, I want to prove to you that I can get the whole map. But it's not an end game strategy. It doesn't matter if you get the whole map. The aim of the game is to win the war. And by doing this strategy, he might actually cost himself the win because he's feeding Zateo heavily. Like, he's only 20k. Just note this time, Zateo's only 20k behind right now in terms of score. If this holds out for another 5-10 minutes, Zateo will probably be first place. And if you look at the SCV count here, you've got 8 SCVs for Zateo, 4 for Behemoth. So that's 12. That's like 13 total for bottom right. So they may actually be able to hold here. And the longer it goes on, the worse it is for top left. It's not about unit count. As long as you're feeding.
Turrets. Also, Kurta has 320 supply, and when he loses units, he loses like 30 at a time, and it instantly... 330 supply, my bad. And it instantly refills. He has more than double the bottom right team's total supply. Also, the turrets, again, are back for Kurta, which, again, is a very good strategy. Man, Zito can throw turrets like...
Yep, and he's got the SCV count to do it as well. And if you have a look, we're at 17k, so there's a 3k... advantage there for Zateo. He's actually winning this battle. It may look like Kurto's winning. I don't think so. I think with Zateo sitting at 8k in the bank right now, he can actually do a massive turret push on that side there, slow him down. Kurto's focused on killing buildings. Buildings are not doing anything. The Marines and all of this that Zateo have are not the reason why Kurto's struggling here. It's all got to do with the turrets. But yeah, that
finally walked his full army down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been done a little while ago. He should focus the tank, not as if it's... there are 2 tanks there. But yeah, that tank's going to go end up dying.
Zateo sitting on 10k right now. He drops 2 SCVs. It's not going to be enough right now. He needs to push a lot harder. 15k spread. Still gaining.
I would... I still say Kurto has this, but I would have told you maybe 10, 12 minutes ago in game time, Zito was 60k and Kurto was 105k maybe? So that he has fed back up to where he has some level of contention. Look at all can I double click? Oh my god, what is that? 3, 6, 9, 12 plus another. So he has 18 turrets in this one little section that I can see kind of the middle right. That is crazy.
Oh no, he calls it.
I
don't know why he called it. He called it. He dropped down to 14k spread, like but yeah, that was
I think mini-map. You're still no, he quits. That was hilarious.
I think that they could have actually held out pretty well there. But anyway, GG, that was game 3 of the night, and my StarCraft just crashed. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And thanks for co-casting with me there.
It was a pleasure, man. Anytime.
Awesome.